Hello, so today we are doing another live board repair level video. Again, with these videos, what I'm trying to do is get across that you do not have to be a genius to do motherboard component level repair, that you do not have to be a genius to do the more difficult repairs. You're going to see a lot of videos out there that are showing you how to replace an iPhone screen. You're going to see a lot of videos out there showing you how to replace a laptop battery. You're going to see videos showing you how to do these silly things and how to put motherboards into ovens to make them work again. And for the most part, this stuff is not what's going to make you real money. It's not what's going to set you apart. This channel is about how to deal with issues in the real world. This is how to deal with customers that would otherwise take your money or otherwise leave bad reviews. This is about dealing with how to make money in the actual repair world, whatever money is left at the very least, until these devices are not fixable. And that's what we're trying to do with this channel. So today we have a Retina that has no backlight. I did say I wanted to do these videos live and in real time, but due to time constraints, the fact that I'm very busy and the fact that I have been fighting video equipment, I have not been able to fulfill that all the way. So this is not 100% live. As you can see, I have already taken the bottom cover off. I have already replaced the backlight fuse, and replacing the backlight fuse did not solve my problem. So I'm going to show you what this looks like over here on a Retina. This is where the backlight circuit is. So I have tried replacing the fuse and it didn't work. Now, what I should have done is actually use my brain. As I say on this channel, I always encourage you to use your brain. That's the first thing that I say. I'm always trolling. I'm always saying use your brain. And I didn't use my brain because why would I replace a fuse? Why in God's name would I replace a fuse before actually checking to make sure that there wasn't a short to ground? I didn't. I was just hoping it would be easy. I was hoping to have an easy shot, and you know, there's really no free lunch and there's no easy shots. So let me show you what it is this looks like. Now, what I have is a dead short to ground, and I'm going to show you how I measure that in a few. But the first thing I want you to see that's important is what this LVDS connector looks like. So let's see if I can get focus on it. Now, as you can see on the ends, that is a pretty fucked up LVDS. See all the way on the right side? Now, when the LVDS looks that messed up, that's actually a cool thing because it gives me a hint. It gives me an idea of what's actually wrong and where I should start. As I said again, one of the things I hate about getting boards that are perfectly clean, boards that are messed with, is that you people, again, I appreciate that you want to make your own money, and I appreciate the ultrasonicing and all that because you want to make sure that you can fix it on your own before you waste time getting it here. But one of the things about that, one of the things that drives me nuts is when you take away the hints that give me an idea of what I should be looking for. So if you have a small short to ground or a partial short to ground, then I would try to find the component that's wrong. But when I have a 0 ohm short to ground, I mean 0 ohms as in the backlight output is directly short in the ground, one of the first things that I look at is the LVDS connector. And when the LVDS cable looks like that, when the LVDS cable looks that fucked up, I have an idea of where I need to start. So let me show you where I look at backlight output. So here is my schematic here. Let me zoom in a little bit. All right. So here's the backlight circuit. I really do need to get a higher resolution monitor. I mean, 1080p sounds cool, and that's, by the way, this is one of the things that I hate about modern monitors. They're so wide. Like, what happened to 1600 by 1200? What happened to usable resolutions? I can't work with 1920 by 1080. You know, I know I'm sounding like spoiled and, you know, unappreciative, but really, what am I supposed to do with that? You really can't do shit with 1920 by 1080. So this is the backlight circuit. I wish I had a bigger resolution monitor, by the way. I mean, you know, it kind of gets annoying to work on 1920 by 1080, 1600 by 900. I mean, 12 years ago, I had a laptop with 1600 by 1200 resolution. So, I mean, and again, I know it's possible. So here you have PPV OUT underscore SO LCD backlight. So this, as I've said before, PPV voltage. Out means out voltage out. SO is the state of the computer. So SO means that this is when the computer's on. So you have S5, which is computer's totally off. S3, computer is sleeping. SO, computer is on. So the whole idea is when the computer is on, this is voltage that goes out for LCD backlight. Don't look at this and get all confused and all scared. That's just, it's just very simple. And it sounds weird because it's in words you're not used to hearing it in, and it's explained to you all abbreviated, and it's confusing, but again, it's easier than you think. You just got to not get intimidated by the silly nomenclature that's used in the schematic. So out here you have all these capacitors on output. So you have all these capacitors going to ground. As I've said before, capacitors can only pass AC. So if you have an output that you want to be DC, if you put a capacitor to ground, what's going to happen is all your AC is going to go away. So let's try to find one of these so I can confirm my theory, because wherever these capacitors are, I'm going to have a spot where I can confirm my theory. So let's see what happens. By the way, when you use this board view software, one of the things is, I swear to God, the board view software always knows the way I'm holding the board so that it can orient it the other way. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, or if anybody who does this on a regular basis has noticed this. Every time, I mean every fucking time I tell this software, to open a board view or to find a component for me, it always has the board in the opposite orientation of the actual motherboard. Drives me up a fucking wall, I swear to God. But yeah. So, here we have ground, here we have PPV out, SO LCD backlight. So that is going to be... Stand up, motherfucker. My fluke has been dropped so many times that it can't stand up anymore. Poor thing. Alright. So, I got my fluke in diode mode. I have positive on ground. And I measure for backlight, and what do I get? 0. 0 voltage drop. You see that? It says 0. If you don't see it, you should just trust me that it says 0. 0 voltage drop. What that means is that there is a dead short to ground. And when I see a burned LVDS connector right by the pins for backlight, and when I know that the LVDS connector itself is actually soldered to the board where ground is, I just figure the LVDS is shorting to the board. So the first thing that I'm going to do to see if I can resolve this horse crap, before I replace a fuse again and waste my time on some shit that's just going to blow, I'm going to take this board out. By the way, on the retinas, when you're taking the board out, there's this little crap hidden over here. Drives me up a wall. This thing, this little cable over here, don't rip it. It's the thinnest, tiniest cable put all the way in the corner. It's so easy to rip because of its location. Alright, put that over there. Unplug the keyboard, unplug the trackpad. This is really not a business for people who don't have nails. If you believe in trimming your nails on a regular basis, you're probably not going to be successful. Seriously. You need nails. Spudgers suck. Spudgers waste time. Spudgers are a pain in the ass. Nails. Nails are great stuff. Great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. Also, I usually like to do these videos where I'm showing you that the board doesn't work and then I'm showing you that it works afterwards. I'm just hoping that since I showed you what the LVDS looked like already and I showed you on the multimeter that I have a dead short to ground, that you believe me. By now you should kind of believe that this channel is the real deal and that I'm not fixing stuff that I already fixed off camera just to make it look easy. I am actually figuring this out as I go. Okay, so what happened there is my iron had a wire going over it for my microscope camera, which actually burned through and shorted my AC to ground, which is why the power just went out. See, I'm not off to a great start here because I haven't even actually started working on the board and something has already went on fire. Not the best way to start off the day. Let's go back and open all this crap so I can get to troubleshooting. Yeah, that's a good one. That. Alright, where was I? Yes, removing the motherboard from the machine. This motherboard is scared right now. See, this board is scared shitless. It just saw something go on fire, and I have not even started work yet. Oh boy. Be very gentle with the board. Because the thing is, your time, I assure you, your 1 minute of time and slowly removing this to make sure you don't have anything still plugged in is worth much less than the cost of the retina board. Retina board is expensive. You don't want to break retina board. You really don't want to break retina board. I'm particularly slow at removing these compared to the old ones since I'm new to it. I haven't done as many. And right around the battery here, got these little layers and paper and other horse crap that the board loves to get stuck around. And again, don't flex it. Don't break it. Don't break it. It's expensive. It costs a good amount of money. You don't want to spend $600-700 replacing this thing. Okay, and you got this little DC in board over here. It's zing. Okay. Alright, so now what I'm going to do here is remove the LVDS. I can't believe I set my microscope light wire on fire. It's good to be me, man. Alright, what up? I have to clean this mess. Alright. Nice hot air. It's a very common question, what temperature do I use to do this? 7. And air is on 10. Yeah. You can't correlate that to your iron unless you have a Hakko FR801 with the exact same nozzle as me that's calibrated the same way. Also, if you notice, there's a liquid damage sticker, like right over here where I'm pointing the tweezers. The liquid damage sticker that I just completely sodomized. A lot of people ask me, like, are Apple going to notice after you're done with this? I'm like, absolutely yes. Oh, fuck yes. You are not getting any warranty from them after this. Apple care, no Apple care. When they say a little piece of molybdenum wire under green coating and your liquid damage sensor has been turned to carbon, no, you're not getting no fucking warranty. Get out of here. Your warranty is through me. So you better be nice. Because Apple is going to see this and they are going to laugh. They're going to laugh their balls off. Okay, so the LVDS has been removed from the board. Now, remember that little measurement that was 0? So this on this camera, I had a measurement of 0. Let's see what I get now. I gotta get a flashlight or a lamp to point at this, or at least a backlit multimeter, because it's not competing with the light up here at all. Yeah, let's try this again. I'm getting a measurement of OL. That's weird. It should be 0.531 or something else. It shouldn't be a straight 0. That's just kind of weird. But it is a straight 0. That don't make any sense. I got positive on ground. Make sure I'm not losing my mind. Okay, ground. Strange. Very strange. Well, the short to ground is gone at least. Well, I am going to replace the connector since I have to anyway. And I'll figure out why that reading is OL later. Because again, I'm really not expecting OL. That doesn't seem right at all. Okay. Poor microscope camera wire. The first thing I do is add solder. Gonna get the tip on my soldering iron that I like to use for this. I'm gonna get a new one. It's a Hakko 900M-T-0.5C. So that's 900, M as in Mary, dash, T as in Thomas. So that's 900. So that's 900 M as in Mary dash T as in Thomas dash 0.5 C. I'm trying to think of a word other than a curse word that I can use for C. As in Chris. Yep. For a Hakko 936 iron, and I have the 936-12 handpiece for this iron, which is tangled and oh my Jesus. One of my flaws, I really do have to work at getting better at this, is I'm a mess. And when you get to the point where your workspace literally goes on fire in the middle of a YouTube video because you're a mess, you kind of have to realize that it's about time you get better. But I am a mess. It is one of my flaws. And, you know, something I got to get better at. But that's going to be a while coming. So first thing I'm going to do is get some solder on these pads. Get some leaded solder. And get some flux as well. We're going to make a nice big old mess. Let's get a nice mess. This is Amtech 559. So Amtech NC-559-V2-TF. It's an excellent, excellent flux. It's not just good for BGA rework, it's good for all types of rework. I like it. It's good stuff. Amtech 559. I bought it from Notebook Mechanics. I honestly never bothered trying to get a better deal because, you know, they sold it. It worked really well. It was affordable enough for me to never really give a shit about looking for a better deal. So I bother. You're going to make a nice big old mess and not feel the least bit bad about it. Alright. Because I'm going to be getting rid of this anyway. So why do I give a shit? The whole idea here is you want to pick up all the old crap. So to do that, we actually put new solder on it with fresh flux, which is going to be nice and easy to remove. And then what it's going to do is there's very little old solder left because it's, you know, burned and fucked away. So when we put this new solder on, it's going to pretty much absorb most of the old solder, and then it's going to make it easier for me to just take this desoldering braid over here and just cut up everything. I don't usually use desoldering braid. I don't like desoldering braid. It's a pain in the ass. It lacks precision. It's just a pain in the ass, and you have to use a lot of heat for it to work. And I like using a lot of heat for a lot of things, but using a lot of heat on this is a real pain in the ass. Yeah, I mean, I'm at 800 and I'm not sliding along the way I'd like to. So this would probably be easier if I should actually be using the bigger tip on the iron for this. I'm not setting a good example by using this tip to remove the solder. I should have been using the bigger tip, but I know I can get away with this one and I don't feel like changing it. Oh, I really should change it. Yeah, I should change it. Should definitely change it. Oh, fuck it, I'll change it. Fuck it, I'll get the pliers. Fine, I'll stop being lazy. It's easy to get lazy at the end of the day. There we go. Good old big tip. I'm sure you're supposed to turn this thing off, but no, so did you hear that noise? That was pretty cool. I'm sure you're supposed to turn this off so you don't mess up the heating element. I actually killed this thing the other day. I plan on getting a new one. This is a $10 knockoff version of the Hakko 936 because I can't find the original iron anymore. Apparently they discontinued it, which makes me really sad. It's also probably why my original tips are not fitting on here properly and why this is being a pain in the ass to get it back on. Because I'm using some bullshit garbage crap. It's not original. It's not OEM. Not OEM. This is not an original iPhone. Oh my god, the pliers, I barely did anything and the pliers left a huge dent in this fucking piece of crap. I wish the original 936 were available. And the thing about these, by the way, I know I'm going to sound old as shit when I say things like this, but you get used to the tools that you have. You don't really want to replace them because it's a pain in the ass. I was looking very closely at the 951, and it's a cool iron. It has all the, it's definitely a good iron in its own right. But the thing about it is it doesn't have one of the tips, which is the tip that I was about to use, on it. It doesn't have that tip. I need that tip. I learned that tip. I did my first LVDS connector with that tip, That tip has gone places with me. I don't want to fucking start over from scratch and have to learn how to use a new... Oh, just come out. Using a new tip, it's a pain in the ass. So I want to use what I know, which is why I bought this other one. But, yeah, this is not my Hakko. This is a wacko. This is a piece of dog shit. This is crap. This is horse shit. Does this even fucking fit in here? What is that? Oh, really? You don't fit original tips, do you? Okay, that is just horse crap. Okay, so this piece of garbage, this piece of fucking dog shit, doesn't fit original tips. Lovely. Lovely. So I just got to go back to using the other one. Oh well. Oh man, this makes me sad. I hate when I don't get tools that it really pisses me off when I have to deal with knockoff or shitty ass tools. I'm gonna have to get used to using the new tips because apparently this thing is barely even a Hakko. It doesn't even say Hakko on it. The real irons actually say Hakko on them. This one doesn't say Hakko. It says nothing, which is why I call it a wacko, which is just a knockoff piece of dog shit. But what are you gonna do? I'll try this thing. Fuck using the desoldering braid. So, one of my other nice toys is this cool desoldering iron here. Again, I don't usually like using this for LVDSs, but if it's a choice between using this or dealing with trying to put that other nozzle on, or that other soldering tip on, I'll take this. This is going to be less aggravating. So let me reflux this up. As I said, this is going to be in real time. So all these dumb mistakes, all this silly crap, all this fuck-ups and garbage, I'm most likely going to wind up including in the video. Dumb as it may seem. So I'm going to put a nice, disgusting amount of flux on there. Nice, disgusting amount. And I'm going to get myself a nice big solder blob and put it all over there. So that will make it easier for me to remove all the solder. And the whole idea here, I'm not trying to make neat solder joints because I'm removing them anyway, so it don't really matter. I just want to get rid of this horse. I just want to get rid of all the crappy old solder, the nasty. Like it should look nice and silvery. All that stuff that looks like cum, just get rid of that crap. Yes, I did just say cum on YouTube. Alright. So we're going to go along here. Did I just seriously clog this? I did just clog this thing, didn't I? You know why this clogged, by the way, right? Because I'm doing a live YouTube video. You've got to be fucking kidding me. You've got to be... Oh, that is just funny. Okay, so the desoldering iron clogged, and the new iron that I got decided to not work in the middle of a YouTube video. No. Oh man, this is funny. You really can't make stuff like this up. So anyway, since I'm going to be dealing with fixing all these tools as I'm actually trying to do a fucking repair, might as well explain some basics of a desoldering iron to you. If you need something to suck up solder, do not go to Radio Shack and buy that little cheap piece of shit with the button that snaps up. Because the way that you can never actually get that in there with the soldering iron at the same time. It's almost impossible. So what happens, that's good, but what happens is you wind up using the tool to remove you put the soldering iron there, and then you have to rush this tool in and hit the little button and have the gust of air suck it up. There's two problems with that. A, by the time you actually get the tool where the solder joint was that you're trying to remove, and you've removed the soldering iron, the solder is already half cold. And B, when that suction of air comes in to suck the solder up, it cools it down completely to the point where there's still solder there. That is just a complete, cheap, utter piece of crap. It's not a tool that you actually want to use. It's horse shit, it's junk, it's garbage. If you see that on the bench at a place that you're working at, you know that that's a place that you shouldn't be working at. You know that you just got to go, you got to find a new place to work. Because if they're that fucking cheap, that they would rather go through the absolute nightmare and hell of using that piece of garbage over spending $150, $200 on this thing. You just don't want to work for them. Alright, so this is my last desoldering tip, and I am going to use it instead of clean out the old one, because I just don't feel like wasting this whole video on fucked up tools. But yeah, you can fix that. What I actually do to fix that is I put it in the infrared rework station, and I set the temperature as high as it'll go, and I have the bottom heater temperature set as high as it'll go, and then I just poke at it with something, and the solder comes right out. So yeah. It's a good thing I have so much dead skin on my fingers that I can't actually feel that. Sad, but good. Okay, let's wait for this to heat up a little bit. That's nice. That, oh yeah. Oh yeah. One of the things to know about these things is you're not supposed to actually run it and then just while it's sucking the solder move it along, because this, as I said, the air is actually going to get cooled down. The solder is going to get cooled down by the air. So what you want to do is you want to kind of move it, like hit the button, then let it stay for a second. Then hit the button and it's going to naturally move on its own because it's motorized. It's going to naturally move a little bit from left to right, even if you're trying to hold it still. And so I just hold it, hit the button, let it move, hold it, hit the button, let it move. And that's how I'm getting all the solder off of the pads. If you actually put it on top and then just slide it all the way down, you're going to notice you have a lot of solder left on all these pads. And that ain't good. Only at the end do I actually slide over all the pads. I have no solder left on there now. I'm just being an OCD freak. You also have to be careful with the type of board that you're doing that to, because some boards are more delicate than others. With some boards, as soon as you think all the solder is gone, you're done. With this board, I mean, I know how durable these are because I've worked on it a million times, so I know what I can get away with. But if you don't know what you can get away with, you really have to figure that out on a board that's not that valuable to you. Let's wash all that crap off. Alright, let's see what we have under our microscope. Not good enough. Not good enough. We'll be back to the drawing board. Yeah, see how like this 5th and 6th pin from the left? No, we can do better than that. And now, at the absolute end, I will use this braid. This usually takes a lot less time. It's taken long this time because I'm doing a video. You know that everything's going to go fucked up and all the tools are going to break and there's going to be a little fire that gets set on your table from your microscope LED just because I'm doing a video. That's just the way it is. That's just life. Alright. Now here's one of the really cool parts about the Retina LVDS. This is something that I love. This is something that makes me happy inside. Is that there are these two little holes in the board, and those two little holes align it, so I don't have to spend all fucking day driving myself crazy to align it, because there's a hole over here and over here, and those holes are gonna do my job for me, which is awesome. Which is awesome. Alrighty. As I said before, the reason I removed this LVDS is because I had a 0 ohm short to ground on the output of backlight. And since that short went away, as soon as I removed that, I know that I was onto something. Do I know that that's the cause of my whole problem? No. There could be many other problems that I have, but what I do know is that since that removed my short, that I knew I would have had to do this anyway, so I might as well get it out of the way while I'm not completely dead tired. Here, Flux, where'd I put you? Where'd I put you? Where'd I put you? Oh, come on, where the fuck did you go? You better not be right next to me, or I'm gonna be pissed off. Here we go. Flux, solder flux. Okay. Put this little connector down on the board. Let's get some flux down there first. Oh, by the way, there's a lot of fluxes on eBay. And you're going to see that some of these tubes are like 50 to 20 bucks, and then you're going to see there's others that are like 5 from people that have shit feedback. Here's the thing. I'm charging 425 bucks to fix this board because it's a Retina. 425 bucks. I'm using about 1/20th of that tube, if not less. Do you really want to save 3 cents to torture yourself? I mean, you see the crap that I'm going through, and I haven't even started the connector. I'm not even at the point where I am working on the connector, and I'm already miserable because of all the shit that just hasn't gone my way. Do you really want to torture yourself? Do you seriously want to torture yourself to save like $2? Buy the best flux. Buy good stuff. I buy Amtech because it is the best that you can get. It always works the way it's supposed to, and it makes my life easier. And that's the way you win in this business. You find tools, you find parts, you find vendors that make your life easier. The parts at the end of the day are going to make your life easier or harder. If it makes your life easy, it is worth the money. Do these even have the little indents under them? Did I even grab the right connector? Let's see. Is this the right connector? Are you a 1398? Now I really think I'm losing my mind. Because this does not have those little holes on them. Wrong one from the bin? Am I losing my mind? No, I'm not. That's a 1398. Huh. Ah. Blah. Horse crap. I'm looking to see if I can find the original one so I can compare. I don't think I'm going to have any luck with that. Alright. This should fit. Oh, that's not... I thought this... Yeah, that is an indentation. You're supposed to have something that fits into that indentation. And you don't. I think I've been bamboozled. I think somebody's trying to fuck with me. Let's see. Does this one work? Swear to Christ. One of the other things about this business, half of the people that are going to sell you shit, they don't even know what they're selling you. They really have no idea. They have absolutely no fucking clue what they're selling you. But they're happy to sell it to you. Happy to take your money. But they don't know what the part is themselves. No idea. So this one has two little pieces under it. I'll show you what let me see if I can show you what I mean. So for the Retina and all these boards that have little holes in them, you see those little indents? Those allow it to align itself properly on the board. The older ones don't have that, but the newer ones do. Yeah, so let's try this again. Let's see how this goes in. See, that's nice. You see how this is? So when I pushed it in, everything's aligned, and if I try to push it like this, I can't. I can't really push it because it's actually, because those two little holes went in the motherboard. I mean, you can move it around a little bit, but that's all you get. See, this is nice. This is sexy. This is, as Tim the Toolman Taylor would say. I don't know if anybody watching this is old enough to have seen that show. I noticed a lot of my viewership is a lot younger than I thought. You know, a lot of these people are like 16, 17, you know. It really is making me feel old, you know. I'm not that old, but I'm starting to feel old when I see the things that other people don't know. Like I asked my secretary if I made a reference to Whitney Houston's The Bodyguard, and she's like, I don't know what that is. What? I mean, I get you haven't seen the movie. Maybe you don't like Whitney Houston, but to not know it? Whitney Houston? The Bodyguard? Really? I don't know, man. So yeah, this is a lot easier to align than the other ones. I mean, a lot easier. Okay, now we're going to go to my thinner spool of solder. This is some 0.3 milliliter shit. 0.03 or 0.3 Kester. Good stuff, good stuff. Very good stuff. All right. Soldering these connectors is horse crap. I was actually debating whether or not I should do a video for this because I don't have a steady hand, and I ain't going to get into it on a public YouTube channel as to why I can't hold my hand anything remotely steady, or why my hand doesn't listen to my brain when my brain tells it what to do. But the fact of the matter is that it doesn't, and that causes me issues with these jobs. And I was wondering, you know, are people going to look at this and have no confidence in my ability to do my job? And I don't know why I was even worrying about that kind of stuff. See, that's by the way, that's how you don't solder. This is a good time to put that stuff into play. You don't put the iron there and then try to shove the solder onto the pin. That's not the way to do it, because the flux winds up crusting up, as you could see it did here. You're not supposed to do that at all. Once the flux goes crappy, once you actually heat it, the flux in the solder runs away, and the flux is what allows it to flow. And when all that flows away, you get those crappy looking joints that don't actually flow to the pad. So solder naturally travels to wherever the heat source is. Yeah, I'm not. All right, let's get the sides on first. So align it and put some flux on there. So yeah, I'm not able to hold my hand very steady, so this is a job that is fairly difficult for me, because it takes me like a couple of seconds to even get myself warmed up before I get down there. Before I can even aim this thing. And it sucks. What are you supposed to do? Resign yourself? Make excuses like the rest of the world? I don't want to be like the rest of the world. I don't want to make excuses as to why I can't do things with my life. So I suck it up. I do the LVDS. I suck it up. And I don't give a shit. You want to be careful right around here, because if you get solder inside, you're going to be really, really unhappy. You don't want to get solder in that area over there. That's going to make you really, really fucking miserable. I mean really, really miserable. Getting that crap out and then having to shove the cable in. The worst is if you're actually doing that, if you make that mistake and you're doing these board repairs for other clients. So you actually are sending boards back to them where they're going to have to shove the LVDS in there. You know that you are in for some, you know, I expect the repair for free again crap when they fuck off the LVDS because they had to jam it in there because your connector, while technically working, was filled with solder. And that's what we try to avoid in this business. We try to avoid all that, you know, it didn't work when you shipped it back to me, it worked before I brought it to you kind of crap. One of the points I forgot that I probably should have gotten across to you. I don't actually care if I bridge a lot of these legs in the beginning. Because the thing is, with traditional soldering, the whole idea is, you know, the whole idea with traditional soldering is, you know, you touch right in between the leg and the solder pad. You touch right in between both of them, and you put the solder in between that, so that the solder goes, it just flows. And the thing is, this is so damn tiny that you just don't have the luxury of being able to do that. You don't. So I'm going to put all these solder on, and then later on I'll worry about removing the shorts. Because again, I can't do one pin at a time personally. I don't have the hands for it. I wish I did. I wish I did. It's not a great feeling when you know what to do, but your actual body won't allow you to do it. What are you gonna do? Now what is important is that you don't burn that black plastic thing at the top. Because if you do, the legs start moving around, then you're back at square one where your LVDS connector is shorting out your backlight. You don't want your LVDS connector to short out your backlight, right? Fairly disgusting. That looks fairly disgusting. Okay, get the... As I said, be careful around this part. If you send boards back to people and they won't go back, and you know they can't fit the LVDS in because you put solder blobs in there, how professional do they think? Are they going to see you as? Not very professional. You can do a perfect job, look every step of the way. You could have a nice, neat workspace. You could not light your microscope light on fire, and you could still have a pissed off customer who thinks you're unprofessional because of that one little thing. No, what matters is the work that goes out. Doesn't matter how you do it. It matters that it leaves professional. I'm going to try a different tip because I honestly don't usually use this one for LVDSs. I tried once and I was able to do it well, so I thought I would try it again, but it's not. The one that I actually like using for LVDS is a 900M-T-IS. See, I probably have one in here. I shouldn't go in the drawer just to find this. Let's see. go. Alright. Okay, quick, because it's... This is not the tip that I thought I'd be using for this. I bought a set of almost every one of these tips a long time ago, so I could judge and see what I'd want to use, and I really didn't expect to like this one. I didn't expect to use it for anything, and it was... So I was very surprised, and this wound up being the tip that I used for almost every LVDS. I really should have started with this from the beginning. The 900M-T-IS. My favorite LVDS connector soldering tip. Clean it off a little. Yeah, I really should have started from the beginning with this. But again, live video series. You get to see all the dumb shit in real time. Alrighty. And in the spirit of seeing all the dumb shit in real time. Now the whole thing this is bent. The cool thing about having the bent tip, I'll show you, is instead of soldering traditionally, as I said, where you put the iron on the pad and on the component lead and then you put the solder between them, on this, it's just because of the size, it's not really realistic, so you got to be creative. And this thing is curved, so it kind of allows me to run up on it. One of the things that's actually trolling here is that my soldering iron is touching the heatsink. Let's remove that. There's pretty much nothing more that could have went wrong or silly with this video if I had tried. I don't know why I kept this on. Yes, I did. I've done a lot of A1278s and airs lately where this doesn't get in the way. But yeah, if your iron is actually touching a heatsink, it may just impede the ability to do what you're doing. So now, as I was saying, so this allows me to touch the pads themselves and slowly kind of brag the solder down while the flux is there. Now, you got to clean it after each use. I should have mentioned that. Now, the idea here with basic physics is that solder flows to the heat source. So if I start my iron up front and my iron is touching the pads on the board, it means that the solder is going to really kind of bring itself towards there. So it's going to get discouraging because you're going to do it like 1,000 times, but... And after a few times of doing it, you should always add a little bit of flux. Even though you already have kind of a flux mess there. It's cheap. 15 bucks a tube. 15 bucks a tube is fine by me. See, it's starting to thin. You can see the layout of the pins. Good stuff. Whew. Work, work, work. Real work. paint it. Some people... And ooh. It would be cool if I could just touch it with the tip of the iron and it actually work, but with these small irons, when you touch it with the tip of the iron, it just kind of tells you to go fuck yourself, as you could see there for a second. It really does just tell you to go fuck yourself. So... patience, patience, patience. One of the things that's actually helpful is this solder that I use has a no clean flux inside of it already. So even without me adding flux, there's actually flux inside the solder. So I mean good no clean flux. But it's still a pain in the ass. And you may be thinking, well, if you have a nice short pointy tip, why don't you just go into the little section that is stuck? But as you can see, it just ignores it. It's like it's not even touching. It's like, no, it just tells me to go fuck off. So what you got. So I just keep cleaning the tip of the iron off, and I keep chipping away and chipping away and chipping away and chipping away. Adding flux so my joints don't get disgusting. And chipping away and chipping away and chipping away. Come on. Come on. There we go. I'm convinced this iron is not the same as my other one. I mean, you see, I'm having it sit there for a second before it even gets hot. The other one was like, as soon as it touched it was just ding. Bing, bang, zoom. I'm up to 896 degrees in this damn thing with the cal all the way up, and look at that. Look at that slow shit. This is what I hate about knockoff crap, man. This is horse shit. This is some horse shit. Not to say that I'm not a moron who can't properly align things, you know. I definitely am a moron, but again, you're seeing the same thing I'm seeing. You know, when I'm yelling at you and bitching at you to not buy AoE shit, to not buy knockoff crap, to not buy a fucking $10 or $20 soldering iron, this is why. Because this shit, it works. It just doesn't work the same. Like this, you see that? You see how I'm touching that and it's not getting hot, and now it's hot? See, that's crap. That's not supposed to do that on 890 degrees. That's not supposed to do that with leaded solder. Not even lead-free with leaded solder on 890 degrees. But it is, because I got a Wakko and not a Hakko. But what are you going to do? You're going to bitch about it, or you're going to make the tool work for you? I'll sit here and make this shit work for me until I can get a good iron again. I'll sit here and make it work for me, because I don't got a choice, man. I got to do the job. I got to do the work. I got to make the money. Can't just... I don't got a parent's basement to crawl back home to if I don't succeed in life. That's what I like about this tip, what I used to like about this tip with the Hakko and not the Wakko, that you just go right up to it and you could just shovel it right down onto the pads. But that assumes that it doesn't take 3 seconds for the crap to get hot. It's funny because I got this thing because I wanted to have familiarity with my old iron, and because I bought this thing, I have not only did I get a piece of crap, but I have no familiarity with my old iron because it's a piece of crap. It's not my old iron. It's not a Hakko. It's a Wakko. At least if I had gotten the 951, you know, I wouldn't have familiarity with my old iron, but it would be a good fucking tool that does a good job. I found the thing for like 230 bucks at all spec. With the tips that I wanted to get, it would have been like 250, 270. With overnight shipping, it would have been like 300 bucks. I don't know why I didn't go for that. Really don't know why. You know, even though I preach all this time, I got learn new things. You know, I want to learn how to do new skills, but for my existing skills, I don't feel like learning new tools. You know? I mean, I already know how to do something. I want to learn new things. I don't want to learn new ways to do the same thing when there's no benefit and there's no point. I don't mind having a, you know, 8-year-old, 9-year-old iron when they have new fancy ones with yellow and blue fancy crap and digital temperature. I don't care about that. What I care about is that I touch this stuff, that this connector takes 10 minutes to get onto a board. Yeah, see, that's what I care about. Maybe my heating element is finally starting to kick in. See, now when I actually touch it, it gets hot instantly. So I upped the temperature about 6 minutes ago when I started redoing the narration. So it took this steaming pile of fucking horse crap 6 minutes. 6 fucking minutes to up the temperature. That's a joke. That's a joke. And you could microwave a pizza in less time than it took for this thing to get to the temperature that I needed it to be at, where I could use it for work. And also the other thing with the IOE tools and the knockoff tools and the cheap shit, it's not just that, it's the consistency. Because this thing may very well work well for the rest of the night, but it wasn't working nice for me before. And that's the thing with consistency. It's like you don't even know if it's you or the tool, and you kind of start to torture yourself and wonder, you know, is it me? Am I making this stuff up? Was I doing something wrong, or was it the tool that wasn't working? And it could be you, and you don't have that much confidence because you're new at it, which is another reason I think new people need good tools even more than experienced people. Because new people to the field, they don't really know how the tool's supposed to work. They don't know if it's if when I do X, is the tool supposed to do Y. So since you don't even really know what your expectations should be, you need a good tool. See, I know what good tools are like. I'm used to using them, so I have an expectation in my head. I know the tool is supposed to do X. So if it doesn't do X, I know there's something wrong with it. But if you have a tool and it's not doing X, and it's supposed to do X, you may not even know that it's supposed to do X, and then you wind up just torturing yourself completely, and it's sad and bad and miserable. And one of the things I'm thinking about right now that's actually making me laugh, I'm not going to use names because it's kind of just unprofessional. On a level that even I would find unprofessional, but this dude wants to buy a rework station. He's so pissed off at the rework station he has, it's not working out for him. This guy spends like a week, 2 weeks helping him pick out the exact one, and he says that he also happens to sell them. And the guy winds up buying it from somebody else because he lowballed him, of course. That's, a lot of people, technicians do. He lowballed him. He's like, the best I could do is take like $50 off, and he's like, that's not enough. So he winds up buying it from somebody else for like $100 less. And the thing about that was, this is a really complicated piece of machinery. This isn't like, my hot air station. This is a complex machine that's really hard to use. Dude buys it, and he has no idea how to use it, no idea to set up the profiles. And, he's asking help on a place. It was the very same place that the other guy who spent hours upon hours helping him with this shit is. And he reads it. And that guy, the thing is, that guy, he would have spent like 10 hours with you helping you. I mean, that's what he does. He would spend 10 hours on the phone with you helping you with the machine. And he cost like an extra $50. So we spend like $2,000-3,000 on something that's now completely useless because he doesn't know how to use it. Because he wanted to try to save $50, And that's just kind of dumb. You have to realize that not only are that compared to the amount of money that you have the ability to make, that the tools themselves are pretty fucking cheap. They really are. This stuff is cheap as hell compared to the actual money that we make with them. Again, an iron, like even the expensive, I mean the high-end iron, like the Hakko FX951, everything I wanted, completely decked out with all the tips I wanted, overnight shipping, $300. Once this is done, I'm going to get $425. So this itself would have paid for the iron and then some. Which is why I just kind of feel dumb that I didn't just do that in the first place. And it really wasn't about the cheapness. I really just didn't want to learn a new thing. But I should have been willing to learn a new thing because, right now I'm just fucking myself. So now we inspect the joints under this magnification. And do I care that every single one of them looks, perfectly sexy? No, I'm realistic with myself. Again, you saw half of the time that I put my hand there, I can't even get the damn thing within the range of the microscope, much less, to solder individual pins of a connector. I know my limitations, and you got to be honest with yourself about everything in life. I know my limitations, and I know where I can do perfect and where I can't do perfect. And this is an area where, unfortunately, I just cannot. Perfect is not an option for me. I mean, unless I hire somebody else to do this, it is what it is. Now there's one pin missing, that's pin number 2. So let's see what pin number 2 is for. Are you important? Do I care that you're missing? Do I care? Let's see. Okay, we go over to the board view, and on the board view, what is pin 2? Give me an NC, NC, NC. NC stands for not connected, so when I see NC on a pin that's broken, I get really, really happy. So, okay, pin 1 is backlight out, pin 2 is unconnected! Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! That means I don't have to give a shit. Alright, now, I honestly, I remember replacing these, but I don't remember going over it in real time that much before. Are they seriously telling me that on the Retina, there's only one pin for backlight? 3940. And you can't be telling me for real that on the fucking Retina screen that you're using 1 pin for backlight. Oh my god. My god. Oh, they are! You fucking fucktards. Seriously, why? Well, you know, whatever. That's Apple for you. Why do they do that? What the fuck are they thinking? 1 pin? And this is not a thick connector. This is not a super durable connector. I mean, these things are a joke in the laptop repair industry for how easy they burn up and die. And you're telling me they used 1 pin. You fucking fucktards. This one over here could be a little better. It really could be a little better, but I got a nice 30 pin over here. I got there, I got that, and I'll go back and fix that thing later, but I'm not going to drive myself nuts now. As I said, the perfectionism thing. You know, when you go to try to make something perfect, you very often wind up fucking it up worse than it already was. I'm not a perfectionist. I want to do work to an amazing standard. But once I know that I've reached a good enough standard, I have the discipline necessary to move the fuck on and not drive myself nuts and not torture myself and not do shit that's going to wind up getting me worse off to where I was when I started again. I've mentioned this a couple of times. I wasn't happy with the position of the warranty sticker, so I decided to take it off and put another one on. Pulling off the warranty sticker pulled off several copper traces on the board. It pulled off the entire masking of the board, and I wasn't really being that hard with it. That board never turned on again. That board never turned on again. That board never showed signs of life. That thing was destroyed because I was a perfectionist. You know, perfectionism truly gets you nowhere. It doesn't. People who are perfectionists, they don't start anything because they feel like they have to be perfect at it. They have to know everything before they start. There they fail. Life, that thing was destroyed because I was a perfectionist. You know, perfectionism truly gets you nowhere. It doesn't. People who are perfectionists, they don't start anything because they feel like they have to be perfect at it. They have to know everything before they start. There they fail. So they never get anywhere. They never get anything done. I don't want to be a perfectionist. Fuck perfectionism. Alright. So, that looks better. Now, I'm not even going to plug a screen in yet. I just want to take a look at the rest of this. What did I need to check? Yes, did I replace the fuse? I forget if I replaced it. Did I? One way to tell. Does the fuse work? No, it does not. Also, I just had a curiosity while I'm here. Let's see what my reading to ground looks like. Do I have a reading to ground that is acceptable? Okay, so my short to ground is not there. At the very least, that means that I didn't fuck up the backlight connector. At the very least, that means I didn't fuck up while soldering the backlight connector too terribly. Thankfully. So, time to solder a fuse in there. By the way, put a fuse. Don't put a wire. If you're a really experienced engineer, if you are at the top of your fucking game and you know what you're doing, you put a wire when you want to put a wire. But if you're a regular fucktard like me, just put a fuse. Seriously. Because you can say that you don't plan on shorting it again, but you don't want like the LVDS to slip a little bit while you're working on it and for the whole machine to go on fire, because then you're really fucked. You don't want to do that. And if that's what you want to do, then you probably don't have the same goal that I do in life, which is to make money off of the work that I do. You have the goal to be miserable. If your goal is to be miserable, then we are not going to get along on this channel very well. Alright, that's the fuse. By the way, not all fuses are white. Don't get used to that. There are a lot of times where there's like capacitor or something else on the board is white. Don't assume because it's white it's a fuse. I would be putting this directly on top, but this new microscope I got is actually so close to the board that I really can't. Okay, throw that away. Let's get my iron here. Oh, this thing barely gets hot. This thing's a fucking joke. I'm gonna throw this shit out the window before the end of the week. Gee, it kills me. Fucking killing me. How high do I have to put this shit so that it would actually work? Fucking wacko. This ain't no Hakko. This is a wacko. Some bullshit ass iron. Come on. This is... Alrighty. Get the solder on the pads, and I hate working with shit tools. It makes everything harder. It makes life more miserable. It derails your confidence. It derails your life. It derails everything. It's just horse shit. I was going to try to move that into place to make it perfect, but then I would be being a perfectionist, just like I told you not to be, and I stopped. See, most of the things I'm telling you not to do, by the way, are things that I did myself. A lot of this channel is kind of a commentary to the younger version of me, to all the things that I wish I had told myself, all the things that I wish I had known. Okay, so I got my fuse there. Alright. Okay. Okay, let's see where SMC on off is. I want to turn this on without plugging it back in, and I forget how to. There are actually a lot of things I forget how to do on the Retina. The thing is, a lot of people don't actually have Retinas. They have the older models. Or the Air. And the people that do get Retinas, they usually don't spill stuff on them. Seriously. They actually don't. They treat them very, very nicely. Because they're so expensive, I imagine. So I don't actually get a lot of Retinas. And since I don't get a lot of Retinas, I don't remember things like where the, power pads and things of that nature are. So, let's see. Oh, this is funny. Okay. Yeah, so it's telling me that one of the probe points is actually off of the motherboard. That's funny. That's some good shit. That is funny. Alright. Okay, so we got some pads in the bottom. Blah, nothing easy to short to ground. Blah. Boo. 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 Alright, whatever. I'll just plug a keyboard in. I'm going to spend more time looking for the damn pad than looking for a ground to short it to than I will just getting a keyboard. Another thing, I like to not wear out the soldering equipment, so even though I usually use high temperatures to do things, I lower them. I like to keep it on so that I can, continue to debug and do my work, but I do lower the temperature so that it doesn't wear out. And I just turn it right back up, and by the time I just decide what I want to solder, the thing's already hot. I don't care that much if I wear out the cheap piece of crap iron, because I really see that that thing has a future, in making a hole in my wall after I toss it at it. Alright. That's where that thing's gonna wind up. That's where that thing's going. That thing's going into the fucking wall. Alright, so let me get a fan on here. I don't even really... Yeah, I should care if that's the right screw. I like to have one fan just to confirm that what I've turned on is actually turned on. So usually when I test the boards outside of the machine, I've always got a fan screwed in there. Because it just tells me that it's turned on. That's the right one. Okay, we're gonna plug this little keyboard in. Now we're going to do some... First thing I want to do... Does it still turn on? After everything that I've done to it, will it still actually turn on? The answer is yes. Cool. Again, I haven't been very nice to this board. Alright, now, ripping its old connectors off and putting new ones on. You didn't hear that. You did not hear that. So, okay, so these are all fucked up retina assemblies. But they should have backlight. I would hope. Hope they have backlight. Else then I'm just kind of torturing myself. Wouldn't that be funny if I was using an assembly that somebody brought here because they had no backlight to test backlight on this board? That would be pretty funny. Pretty sad. Pretty funny. Alright. Let's turn this on and see what happens. Does it go on fire again? Ladies and gentlemen, my work here is done. Well, not really. I should probably confirm that I get a picture. Let's see if I get a question mark. I was hoping that something else would be wrong. I really was. I was hoping that something else was going to be wrong with this because I wanted to be able to show you how the rest of the troubleshooting the backlight circuit works. I mean, we've gone over backlight enable resistors. We've gone over a transistor that wasn't receiving the power from the fuse, so I put a wire to it. We've gone over the feedback trace not being there on an air, but I really was hoping to be able to go more in depth into the other issues because I want you to learn more than what I've just shown you so far. So, as you can see, I got this blinking question mark folder over here, which means that I won. And also means that I can turn the board off before it goes on fire, since I don't have a heatsink on it. Which I should get around to doing that. So let me do this. So I've won. That's pretty much it. I'm good. I'm golden. I got my money. So what are the lessons that we learned today? The first lesson is to look at your soldering station. You should look at the soldering iron or the hot air station before you turn it on and make sure electrical wiring at 120 volts is not wrapped around it. That's the first lesson that we learned today. Don't be a moron. Use your brain. Don't be like me. Use your brain. Don't be an idiot. The second thing that we learned is the importance of having good tools. Again, am I soldering this LVDS connector the right way? No, I'm not. You're supposed to go pin, 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 one pin at a time, and you're supposed to do it properly. As I said, I'm not going to get into the why. With my hand, I simply don't have the ability to do that. Even if I could keep my hand steady, even if I could, when I tell my brain, move over from the left side of pin 7 to the middle of pin 7, I just can't do it. I lack the precision. It actually hurts to get to the point of doing that. I just can't. And I'm not going to get into the why because, again, my personal health really ain't none of your fucking business, but I just can't do it. So what I was doing is I was doing that kind of the wrong way. But the wrong way, it really usually only takes me 7-9 minutes. And I really was wondering what was going on until I noticed I'm at 896 degrees with cal turned all the way up, and I'm only melting solder 50% of the time. You saw, sometimes I would touch the iron and it melted instantly. And sometimes I'd touch the iron there and it took forever. It took like a good 2 seconds for the solder to even get shiny. Not even get hot enough to solder, I mean just get shiny. And that's the thing I want to get across to you about crappy tools. So I'm going to show you here. Usually Hakko irons say Hakko on it with the name. This one says nothing because it's a $10 piece of crap. What I want to get across to you is it's not just that good tools make your life easier, because they do. But the other things that good tools do is if you're new to something, they allow you to set your expectations properly. So when you get a perfect tool that works perfectly, you know that that's how it's supposed to work. This is how it's supposed to work. I am doing my job. I'm learning. I'm doing well. That's how it's supposed to work. Now, if you're using this for the first time, you may think, oh my God, doing this is impossible. You're just not supposed to be able to do this unless you have some sort of robotic machine do the work for you. You may think that because your tool is not making it as easy as it's supposed to. Your tool is not setting your expectations properly. Since this is the first time you're using it because you're a newbie, you don't have those expectations in your head. I have used an original Hakko iron. I've used high-end soldering equipment from Hakko and Metcal and Weller. I know what a good soldering iron is supposed to be like when you're doing micro soldering. I know what it's supposed to work like, which is why I know that this thing is working like a piece of shit. And again, it's the consistency, because this iron works just good enough. The iron works good enough of the time for me to think that I'm doing something fucked up. And that's something that again, it's going to drive you nuts if you don't know how it's supposed to work all the time. If you don't know how your tool is supposed to work all the time, you may think you're doing something fucked up when you're not doing something fucked up. And shit like that can really drive you up a fucking wall. It can really drive you insane. And also, one of the things I want to get across above all with this video if you don't, I hear people say all the time, I don't have a steady hand. I don't have the hands to do this work. Some of them are just making up pussy excuses for themselves, and some of them actually have a health problem like me where they may not be able to hold their hand perfectly steady. And one of the things I hope this gets across to you in this video is that you can turn a $5 connector into $425 using a hand that's not steady. You don't have to be able to hold the tool steady in order to actually do a good job. You can do a job that looks good, that works well, that is durable, that's going to last, that people are going to pay you money for on a micro level. You can do work that you can't even fucking see outside of a microscope to a very high standard of quality, even if you don't have hands that are steady. Personally speaking, I've had people tell me that you should not be in this business. I've had people tell me that you have no business working on this, that, and the other. You should hire people to do this for you and focus on your health and this, that, and the other. Because again, the hands for what I'm doing, it's just not easy. But as I showed you, while it wasn't the easiest thing to do, I was able to do it. I was able to do it to a good standard of quality, and I was able to do it where everything worked properly. And my hands don't work the way that they're exactly supposed to. So I'm okay with that, and hopefully you are too. And hopefully if you're watching this, you get all those... Again, as I've said with this channel before, this is all about getting the excuses out of your head. I can never learn this, I'm not an engineer. I can't do this because I don't know how. I can't do this because I didn't go to college. I can't do this because I don't know how to read the schematic. I can't do this because I can't read the abbreviation. I can't do this because my hand shakes. Here's my hand holding a T5 screwdriver fully extended. And I just soldered an LVDS connector. So just get the fuck out of here with that shit. And that's it for today. Any questions, comments, do post them. Do realize again with the questions, if you post like 2 paragraphs saying, this is short into that, and I tried this pin and that pin and that pin, my brain is just going to explode, and I'm probably not going to have time to answer it. But I will try to help out when I can. If I don't help out, it just usually means I'm busy. I have other crap to do. I have other boards to work on. I got stuff that I have to do so I can continue making money. But I will try if I have the time to reply. Please don't get butthurt if I don't reply. Try to simplify your question into something that isn't, a complete nightmare. Try to provide me with information that's useful. If you say that pin 3 is burned and pin 3 is supposed to have 3 volts on it, do tell me if pin 3 has 3 volts on it. Use your common sense. Make life a little easy for me. And that's it for today.